Hello everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today we are taking a look at Koala Sampler. Koala has just been updated now with lazy sample chopping, but live input lazy sample chopping, which is different from the sample chopping we had and the lazy sample chop we had in the past. So for example, I have this little jazzy thing, which is what we're going to use to do some chopping. Now, if we open up Koala, it says press and hold a red pad to record. So initially, what you'd have to do is you'd start your sample or whatever, and you'd hold a pad. And now this is recording as long as you're holding it. You can change this, of course. And then when you've finished, you can let go, right? But now what you can do is you can change the pad as you're recording. You can just swap different pads, and you couldn't do that in the past. So now we've got this. Let's get rid of it. So what you can do now is hit play and watch what we can do. It's very cool. So now you've got these, excuse me, this is iOS 26, keeps doing that. Right, so now what I would do is, because you want to be playing this kind of, first of all, go into edit, and for each of these samples that you've chopped, just assign them to a choke group. I'll show you why in a sec. One. Now what we can do is turn on one shot for each of these, and this is much easier. So you do a bit of housekeeping like this. Now what you can do is you can just tap one of these, forget about it, and now it'll stop. But what we could do also is we could just turn it on loop for these as well. And it should repeat. Well, it hasn't, I don't know why. It's weird, isn't it? It's looping there. So you can also, of course, now do all the normal stuff, like you can edit certain parts of it. So you might only want this bit with this, right? So let me turn the loop off for that. Want, say, a little tiny portion of this sample like that. Of course, you can do everything else now. You can copy a sample. This is just to show you the one. So now the old way, of course, if we just click on new now to start another project, this card changes. The old way, you could still do sample chopping, but you couldn't do live input sample chopping. What you'd have to do is, if we go into our samples here and I look at, say, I don't know what I've got in downloads, and maybe go with this sample here, and I'll drop it onto this pad. Right. So now what we have, let's close that out, is, let's just put this on a one shot. You could go in and chop this up if you wanted to. And that you want to go is go into tools, and you would go, but there's a problem here, of course. auto chop, it's detecting 345 chops, and we haven't got 340. We've only got 64 pads, but we can, of course, you know, make adjustments here, and it will. Okay, but if we pick something a little bit more sensible, let's say, for example, let's cancel that. And let's just ditch this and go with, say, a drum loop of some description. Let's see. I've got some vintage breakbeats here. Let's try these. We don't want it. We don't need to be worrying about the time because I'm going to set this on a one shot because we are going to be stretching this. So let's hit stretch, and it's going to time this up now. So let's just play. And we can, once we're on stretch, we can, of course, do anything we like with the tempo. So let's leave it on this. Okay, so the old way, what you could do is go into tools, go into auto chop, and it's detected all the relevant transients. That's fine. If we hit chop now, it will automatically chop it to the relevant pads, of course, right? But we want to go on lazy. So this is the old version of lazy chop, and all we need to do, and keep original is important. I always have this switched on because it retains the original file and you're not going to lose anything, right? So let's do this. So let's just press play. Now each time we hit a marker, so let's hit chop, and it's chopped. It's chopped them up across the pads that we selected, right? Here's the thing. We want choke on for all this stuff as well, like I said. Otherwise, you're going to get that kind of overhanging note thing going on. So now, and it means, of course, that you can just go in and do all the editing you like. So this is the original. So we'll put that on there. We'll bin that so we don't get confused. That's completely useless. If we edit it, look, see? The tiny, tiny titchy thing here. So let's make this a little bit bigger, shall we, if we can. There we go. So biff. Now you can crop this out if you want. If you don't want the rest of it, you can just go in here and go, right, we'll crop that. We'll just be left with that kick. And this editing stuff is, you know, the same for whatever you do. Right, so say, for example, this. Let's just crop that as well, because we don't need all that extra stuff. Just have a swig of me coffee, hang on. Right, I'm back. Oh, and refreshed. Right, okay, so you get the idea, but the new way to do it is really cool. Let me just put in a new session. I do not want to save that one. I want to show you something else, right? So press and hold. Now, that's all right, but I prefer this other method. Go into settings here, and in general, you'll see the second one down is hold to record. That's what we've got now. Let's turn that off. Now, what will happen now is I only have to tap this pad once, and I can let go and get ready to fire the next pad off. This is much better. I can let go now and just, you know, I can choose any pad. So I'm not having to kind of keep hold of it to jump to the next pad. Okay, so you get the idea. So let's stop that. Don't need that. And again, like I said, with the editing is important. You want one shots and maybe choke group everything, so it's the same. Like so. So I'm going to just choke for now for demonstration purposes these few groups here. And also one shot each of these. And for this one, I'm going to let it loop. So one shot and choke. Good fun. Guys, there you go. There's the new lazy chopping feature, which is absolutely fab in Koala. Koala just keeps getting better and better. It's just absolutely awesome. And you can, of course, chop any piece of music you like into Koala. And don't forget, Koala also has stem separation as well. But you have to, it's a couple of IAPs with Koala. Initial prices. Now, I bought everything with Koala, everything that's got bought. So I bought it ages and ages ago. And I just, I think it's really great. $4.99 for the actual main app, and then your IAPs would be the Samurai Edition is $3.99. Then you get the mixer, $4.99. Then there's the 3 dub packs. There's the 3 sample packs you can get there, $2.99 each. It's really great for how powerful Koala is. The full price of all the IAPs in the app is like it's less than 25 quid for everything, and it's so good. This recent update for the sample chopping, of course, is completely free. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Ta-da.